Welfare fraud costs Australians millions of dollars every year, and with more of our services moving online, it's becoming easier for scammers. Now the government is fighting back.
Ours is the most targeted welfare scheme in the world, but we're certainly seeing an increase in fraud.
Across Centrelink, Medicare and child support, the government spends a whopping $174 billion a year. It's a complex, expensive system, but that's what leaves it open to scammers and rorters, with the government vowing to crack down on those who take advantage.
Those who commit fraud will fail. We'll find them, we'll mount a brief against them, and we'll prosecute them.
When it comes to welfare fraudsters, there's no shortage of examples, from people faking disabilities like blind Rebecca, who we recently exposed on A Current Affair.
First, she ripped us taxpayers off for 21 years, claiming the disability pension for being blind when she wasn't. Judgment day today. Are you nervous?
To those like Ikram Muhammad, who intentionally misreport their incomes, raking in tens of thousands of dollars.
Ikram Muhammad in her last moments of freedom before being locked up for 3 months for scamming the Centrelink system.
Then there's the hundreds of cheats like Amanda Greensill, caught out pretending to be single while in relationships.
Conning more than $70,000 out of Centrelink to fund her family's lavish lifestyle.
But now the government is turning their attention to online fraudsters who come from around the globe to target welfare recipients and their identities.
It's quite traumatic, losing your identity, losing your documents, seeing money being drained from your bank account, and it's not your fault.
Stuart Roberts is the Minister for Government Services. They've just signed ID Care for another 3 years, an identity and cyber support service to help protect Australians.
And it's designed to provide mitigation and response to people who've been the subject of identity fraud.
The number of Australians being scammed is growing, costing the government tens of millions of dollars each year.
Far too often. So we have a 1-800 number, which is our fraud and scam hotline, if you like. We had 8,900 calls in the last 12 months.
Of those, more than 2,000 were referred to ID Care for action. New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland are the top states for individuals falling victim, while those aged between 45 to 64 are most targeted. The most common type of ID theft and fraud is through phishing scams, with thousands of Australians falling victim to fake emails with fake links each year, allowing fraudsters to drain their bank accounts. But the number of those being prosecuted for scamming and fraud is also rising. This is the government's latest weapon in their fight on fraud, a multi-million-dollar lab targeting digital criminals right across Australia.
We've seen 50 very successful prosecutions in the courts. We had 3,300 cases we looked at last year, and we've looked at 1,000 cases in the last 2 months.
Cases like Muhammad Omar, who was convicted of defrauding the National Disability Insurance Scheme to the tune of nearly $500,000. He was sentenced in July to 4 years in jail for defrauding the $22 billion a year scheme.
I fear there'll be a large amount of fraud popping its head up in that space.
But that's what the new Digital Forensics Lab in Brisbane will target. It's the second in the country, following a state-of-the-art lab in Canberra, with the Minister hoping it will see more offenders prosecuted and prevent others falling victim.
The federal government knows your information. We know who you are. We're not going to ask for your credit card details and all of those.
What is your message to those scammers that are out there?
And my message to fraudsters is very clear. Our tech, our compliance, our procedures, our personnel, they're more sophisticated than you. They're better resourced than you. We will come after you, we will find you, and we will prosecute you.